Hello to anyone who is watching this. In this video, I would like to talk about magic hair. In the world I'm creating, I imagine that whenever someone awakens their magic, their hair naturally starts growing out in a different color. Now, you may be asking yourself, why would people's hair change so drastically just because their magic awakened? Well, the doylist explanation is that I love anime. I find it fascinating how you can tell so much about one character just by looking at their hair color, and how you can predict the relationship between two characters also based on their hair color and how those two colors relate to each other on the color wheel. And I myself want to use this color theory in my writing. As for the Watsonian explanation as to why and how this happens, I have a few ideas to explain how and why this happens. In the very beginning of thinking about writing this project, I knew I wanted the magic system to be based off of the elements, and more specifically, for the elements to be channeled through the 5 platonic solids. Before we go any further, I should explain what the 5 platonic solids are. The 5 solids are based in sacred geometry, and each specific shape represents one of the 5 elements. The tetrahedron is the 3-dimensional shape that represents fire. The hexahedron, specifically a cube, represents earth. The octahedron represents air. The icosahedron represents water. And the 5th and final shape, the dodecahedron, which represents energy. This shape is the most important one in the magic system, because without this one, none of the elements would be able to work together. I imagine performing a spell would take a great deal of not only imagination, but spatial awareness to be able to perform the actual spell, since these are 3D shapes that will physically appear in whatever space you are casting. I really like that base and I fully intend to keep it, but as I was thinking more on the system and imagining how it'd be used, I was asking myself the question, where would the magic actually come from? These are just shapes that people channel the magic through and show up in a physical space. So, where would the magic actually come from? Well, I thought about it, and I decided on another aspect of spiritual practice to pull from: auras. Now, I'm going to assume everyone understands the general idea of auras. People, animals, plants, and everything in between has an aura. I think it would be an interesting magic system if they had to understand how to utilize auras and then combined that knowledge with the 5 platonic solids to be able to create feasible magic in their environment. Now, with all that explanation out of the way, I haven't answered how and why would magic change someone's hair so drastically. Well, I think the answer is a lot simpler than I originally thought it was. So we've already established auras, but I didn't establish that auras had color, and that each aura's specific color was dependent on the personality of the individual person. And just by looking at the solids, you can tell that each one of them has its own unique color. So what if, like the actual magic system, we combined auras and shapes together again? Everyone is born with a natural hair color. That's why it's their natural hair. Everyone also has an aura color determined by their personality, but only a few people have a specific type of magic that they are the most attuned to. The more they practice changing the world around them, it makes sense that their physical body would change in little ways to reflect that. And the more they practice and the stronger they get, their hair changes even more. It wouldn't make any sense for the color to be random, so it would most likely be their natural aura color mixed in with the color affiliated with the element they're proficient in. Now, I know for what I want, this isn't perfect, but I'm actually okay with that. I think the inconsistencies would be a great storytelling device and have great in-world consequences that could be explored. I just want to say thank you to anyone and everyone who made it to the end of this video. This is my first time posting any original content on YouTube, so it means a lot to me that you're able to get this far. If you want to post any suggestions or critiques in the comments, please do so. I would love to have the feedback.